Hello Idle Hero gamers and welcome back to my channel. My name is Light and today DH Games has graced us with more information about the new Dark Rangers that is coming to Idle Heroes, Patricia. They have now given us descriptions of her active skills and her passive skills. This is my first time looking at these skills and reading them, so let's get an impression together. It's going to be impossible to say if she will be a great hero or a bad hero, but she will also get a transcendent state, so we should wait for that and then see whenever people have tested her enough, then we're going to make like a final verdict. But now let's get an impression and see how she feels like. Patricia, Serene Butterfly Waltz. This is her active skill. Launches quick attacks several times, each time dealing attack damage to random enemies, inflicting layers of afterimage of wings, and dealing extra damage equal to a certain percentage of the target's max HP. Caps at Patricia's attack. Meanwhile, consumes all layers of Mystical Butterfly Shadow owned by self. For every layers consumed, attacks more times. Afterward, increases self-dodge for several rounds. That is quite a good stat to have, the self-dodge. After Image of Wings, skill effect. Reduces the target's crit damage. Okay, so whenever she uses her active skill, she will then reduce a random target's crit damage, whomever she hits, of course. And then Mystical Butterfly Shadow, skill effect. Each layer increases self-control immunity up to certain layers can be owned. Okay, so she cannot get unlimited amount of control immunity, but she will probably get a decent amount. This skill, Mystical Butterfly Shadow, also enhances the effect of her active skill. So for each layer she consumes of the Mystical Butterfly Shadow, she attacks more times. So this is kind of like how Yorm Tum also works, where he can attack several times. But this on Patricia is based more of how many layers she already has of Mystical Butterfly Shadow. These are her passive. Blurred Silhouette. Increases HP, attack, control immunity, and holy damage. This is some quite good stats. Control immunity here is also going to be very interesting. It's going to be cool to see how much control immunity she will end up with whenever she has stacked up all of her layers and how it's going to work. Especially when we have popular heroes such as Ignis, and see if there's going to be any opposing synergies by having these two on the same team, or if you're able to actually use your Ignis to control immunity another unit instead of Patricia if she becomes one of your main carries. Overwhelming Praise, passive skill. Changes the basic attack to deals attack damage to random enemies with a chance to inflict after image of wings, and chance to grant self layers of Mystical Butterfly Shadow. Okay, so her basic attack then becomes sort of an AoE that attacks random enemies, and all of the enemies hit is going to be inflicted by after image of wings, which reduces their, was it crit chance or crit damage? Their crit damage. Okay, so they will crit less. So when an enemy with after image of wings, which is crit damage reduced, is inflicted with it again, that means when an enemy is basically hit twice with either 2 basic attacks or 1 basic and an active skill, it's going to remove all of the crit damage debuff. And afterwards, Patricia is going to chase and attack random enemies several times, dealing attack damage and restoring her HP for a certain amount of the damage she dealt, with a chance to also grant herself the Mystical Butterfly Shadow effect, which increases her control immunity. Okay, so whenever she attacks an enemy twice, or has attacked an enemy that already has after image of wings inflicted to them, she is going to remove all of these layers and then chase and attack other random enemies multiple times, and then also restore her HP and also be able to get control immunity. If the target doesn't already have their after image of wings, which is the crit damage reduce, she's going to reduce their attack for several rounds instead. So this hero is going to be reducing crit damage, she is going to reduce attack, she is going to do chase attacks, she's going to do multiple attacks, she will attack multiple heroes, she has control immunity, she has dodge, this might, she also has self-heal, this might become a really good hero She has many stats to keep herself alive in the control immunity, dodge and self-heal, and she also can support your team by decreasing the enemy hero's crit damage and also decreasing their actual attack stat if the right conditions are there. So based on this short summary, she seems like she's going to be a good hero, but we're gonna have to see, of course, to see her Transcendence form, see how this is going to perform, and of course it's always up to the whales and the big players out there to acquire the hero, test the hero, and see how they actually perform. Just reading off the skills now, it's impossible to say if she's going to be good or bad, but I'm very excited for this hero to come to Idle Heroes. Also, I just want to thank you all for the amount of support that I've received on my first video. It was a bit scuffed with the client not being perfectly sized, the thumbnail is too small, and there are definitely loads of potential for improvement, and I am going to do my best to improve loads of things. Right now I'm also working on a Flora's Workshop huge guide, complete guide that will answer everything, and it's also going to include today's patch on Flora's Workshop, so it's not going to be outdated even though it got patched today. It's going to take a bit of time because I am planning on adding loads of graphics and editing it quite nicely. So be patient, thank you for tuning in.